Okay. Yep.
Einen wunderschönen guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren. Herzlich willkommen im neuen Jahr beim CRM-Konvos. Wir freuen uns, in alter Frische Sie und uns wiedersehen zu dürfen. Und wir haben heute, damit wir auch der Tradition verbunden bleiben, nach der Begrüßung in deutscher Sprache, in dann dem Kernthema wieder die englische Sprache als unser Kommunikationsmittel. Wir freuen uns ganz besonders, machen auch heute, weil es ja ein neues Jahr ist und wir vielleicht einige neue Zuschauer und Fans in unserer kleinen Community begrüßen dürfen, nochmal eine kurze Intro auch von den Gastgebern. Aber unser Gast heute ist Daniel Renggli. Daniel ist ein Mitarbeiter des Hauses Oracle. Seine Lieblingsbeschäftigung ist alles um die Power-Möglichkeiten, die die gesamte Oracle Suite bietet, aber insbesondere was Marketing, Customer Experience Management, Customer Journey Management und Real-Time Marketing und Marketing angeht. Ich will jetzt nicht zu viel verraten, weil Daniel wird ein bisschen über sich, seine Historie und was er real tut und was er alles mit den Möglichkeiten umsetzt, die alle so gehen und was man alles anstellen kann damit, im Positiven. Und damit würde ich gerne den Reigen eröffnen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy and grateful that we have Daniel Renggli from Oracle today as our special guest. We start with him our CRMKonvo series in 2021, the year and the option of a lot of fantastic opportunities. So, Daniel, welcome to the club, welcome to the CRM Konvos, and we would love to learn about you and your background and what you do in Oracle, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rolf, Thomas and Marshall for inviting me. Well, I'm responsible for field marketing of our customer experience solutions in our EMEA North region that comprises the Nordic countries, Germany and Switzerland. I don't know how much time do you have to introduce myself.
Plenty. How much do
you know,
have?
I'm an old guy, with a lot of experience. Sorry, how much?
Well, till you don't have any time anymore.
All right. Okay. No, I've been with Oracle for a little more than 5 years by now, and before that, I was in other IT companies for the last 30 years or so, in various marketing roles, some leading positions with other IT vendors mainly, starting with IBM, where I started my IT career as a systems engineer. No kidding, I know how to write code. I wasn't particularly good at it. That's why I became a sales rep soon. So after a few successful years, quotas got bigger and bigger, and I decided to change to product marketing instead, launching SAP on their brand new Unix systems and what was called the AS400 at the time. Soon after, I was hired by PricewaterhouseCoopers for their SAP system house, so I have a lot of experience in that SAP arena. And I was in charge for sales and marketing there for Switzerland. And later I joined SAP itself. For 6 years, my small team fought to change that perception of SAP at the time as being a partner for large companies only. At the time, I could also launch SAP Business One into the market, so some of you might know that solution for smaller and medium-sized companies. I then decided that it was time to found my own company, marketing agency, in fact, together with a friend of mine. One of its customers was EMC, the storage company, and had a mandate as the head of marketing and communications in Switzerland. And later they asked me to join the country management team, which I couldn't resist. So back to IT again, or the IT industry again. And in 2011, I joined Microsoft Switzerland. They approached me to lead their enterprise marketing department, which I did for the following 4 years before I decided to take a break and do something totally different again. For the third time, I was traveling the world for a few months, focusing on two of my hobbies, scuba diving and mountain biking. Then I was, as I mentioned, hired by Oracle 5 years ago.
Wow.
Quite a way.
The gentleman has been around, hasn't he?
Yeah. Well, there's one tier player missing, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, well, but probably there is no need to if one knows where Oracle has been invested heavily for ages of the 20 years that the blue cloud is existing and is enjoying every good business year heavily by the, let's say, growth in its investment. So,
Yeah.
Thomas and Marshall, would you like to tell a sentence about yourself as well?
Again, if we are not known by now, then we are doing something totally wrong.
Okay, if you prefer to go that we
Nah,
start heating up the grill for the more in-depth questions.
of course. Firing up.
When you say in depth, you need to understand I'm a marketing guy now. I'm not a systems engineer any longer. Okay.
Well,
Starting with Honeywell
talking about marketing, so
yeah,
Oracle just a short while ago released its new CX suite of products or solutions. So now I would be surprised if you are not using that in your own endeavors. Question before that, what did you use before? Apart from Oracle, of course. But
before not being at Oracle?
No. At Oracle, before the CX suite got released.
Well, the CX suite, it was not released like recently. We always had quite a few of the products we still use. I think Eloqua was acquired something like 6-7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was around anyway when I joined, so it must have been acquired a long time ago. And then we acquired a couple of other companies, and what was released recently was CX Unity. So that is, kind of rewriting all these applications on a unified platform. So the underlying platform and CX, which CX Unity is, in fact, it's also the customer intelligence platform we use. So that is new, but apart from that, we have a lot of solutions around we used at Oracle already to do good marketing. And Eloqua was one of them.
So Eloqua is now out, or did that get merged into Unity?
No, Eloqua is still existing, but it was kind of rewritten, and it has another fundament, so to speak. And you have CX Unity at the center, and then you have all these different applications around, like CX Audience, Eloqua Responses. Eloqua is for B2B marketing, whereas Responses is for B2C marketing. We have DataFox, Maximizer. Some are familiar with all these names. Sometimes it's really funny because when I talk about Oracle CX, people might wonder what I'm talking about. And if I mention some of these brands, they say, "Okay, yeah, we know that. We use it actually." So yeah, it's a bit confusing, and not everybody has realized that we own these many brands and that we have rewritten some of the code.
And we shouldn't miss right now, and we shouldn't miss the aspect that Unity was once a member in the Happy IBM family. So it sounds familiar. If one or the other member in the family is having a recall, a positive one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that I think we all tend to forget, or at least tend to not consider the depth of, is how many different companies with how many different technologies Oracle has acquired over the years. They weren't even using the term CX until they acquired RightNow, if I remember correctly. I mean, RightNow had just come up with RightNow CX, and then the acquisition happened. And of course, the Siebel acquisition and everything that you've mentioned. What is it like? I mean, you've been a systems engineer, now you're a marketer. Getting all of those technologies and all of those cultures to play nicely together. how does Oracle manage to do it over and over again? Where are the friction points?
Oh, that's a question I'm certainly not the right person to answer.
That's why we're asking you.
Yeah, well, as I said before, I'm the marketing guy now, and not a systems engineer, not in development. But we do have, development department and a dedicated one for CX, and that's where it all came together. All these different acquisitions. It took a while, of course. Siebel, you mentioned before, that was acquired, 12 years, 15 years ago, so a long time ago. And right now, also quite some time ago, then TOA, for those who don't know all these brands, TOA and right now are for service, customer service, and field service. Whereas the solutions I mentioned before, there were more marketing automation solutions. But anyway, all these CX solutions, they were coming together under one roof, and for quite some time now under the leadership of Rob Tarkov. I think you know Rob Tarkov. He's our EVP. He's the head of development as well as product marketing, product management, and he's really the guy who drove that integration ahead. And I think it's to some extent at least it's his work we can be very proud of.
Yeah. Now that it's a little deviating, but you said, well, Siebel is still there. There is, I still call it the new CX solution, and there are bunches of customers who, for example, still use Siebel. This was wildly successful.
Well, Siebel at the time was the most successful CRM solution.
Yeah, right.
And we
So
still have
now there are still some using it. And as far as I know, you are still supporting it, and there's ongoing development going on. So how is from a marketing and also from a sales perspective, if you can relate to that one, is there an approach to migrate Siebel customers into something new? Or will you keep that in parallel? How's that going on? So being a consultant, what should I tell my customers who right now use Siebel and probably want to go on with Siebel?
Yeah, we've been trying to convince all these customers to move to the cloud, of course. Mm-hmm. And today, as Marshall mentioned before, we have this CX suite, which is an integrated suite of applications, and that is called Oracle Fusion Cloud CX. And still, we have parts of these solutions or brands that are making it up, so to speak. But Siebel is an on-premise solution. Siebel is not in the cloud. So Siebel is an on-premise solution. We still, develop it further as much as is required by our customers that do not want to move to the cloud right now. And the thing is that a lot of customers have highly customized Siebel. That is one of the advantages at the time, that you can customize it, but now it's kind of a disadvantage for us because these customers find it hard to just move to the cloud. But I think over time they will see the benefits of cloud computing and see the benefits of our CX suite that is much more than CRM. So sooner or later, they will hopefully move to the cloud.
May I? Yeah, well, if the browser is not behaving itself, I like to bring myself properly into the discussion with a clear signal, such as I want to say and ask something. The question is, from your daily job, as I know it from the description, and being field marketing in Checkpoint for a certain time, I know what the typical expectation of the marketing department, separate in strategic and field marketing, is that you have a certain delivery to make as serving your customers inside the organization, which are sales and you have experiences with your tools and toys, such as where do you see challenges in your day-to-day business in utilizing your own products?
Well,
That's mean.
talking about
Love
No, that's
internal
not mean.
challenges.
That is an honest question. And if you ask me that in my role as update marketing, which is more than 10 years ago, I could have answered you. I'm able to push at the bottom. I could make a better presentation for marketing needs as any sales rep on the booth, because it was my day-to-day business. And I loved my system, and you could wake up me in the middle of the night and I knew it. Yeah. And this was a strong argument why we sold to Ernst & Young at that time, Update Marketing's marketing manager. Yeah. Because the CIO came and said, you are the first guy who is approaching me properly. You are asking me what I would like to see, not you show me anything which I didn't want to see. And you seem to know your product. This is impressive. I love it.
Nice. Yeah, well, you asked me about the challenges, right?
Yeah.
So the challenges, I face in my kind of daily endeavor are alignment between sales and marketing, to summarize it. That's always been quite a challenge in the past, but it gets better and better because we improve the way we do marketing, of course, and we do marketing now, using or leveraging all our solutions and machine learning, and the machine or artificial intelligence helps a lot now because it does a pre-qualification of the leads. So, in the past, I remember when I joined Oracle, I was attending a sales meeting in Germany, and one guy complained about too many leads. He said, we get too many leads. I thought, oh, well, great, finally. They're not complaining about not getting any leads at all. He said, too many leads. And then, the next second or so, he said, and they're all crap.
That is bad.
The leads are
so that is the challenge.
Nothing new, actually.
No, then we changed in a way that we pre-qualified as much as we could, and we had what we call business development consultants. Some other people might call them call center agents. So they did a pre-qualification of these leads we generated in marketing, and they always only passed on the leads that they thought, they are pre-qualified, they are good. And then they started complaining about getting not enough leads. And meanwhile, we have the machine that does all this pre-qualification for us. So artificial intelligence is actually looking, I'd say, historical data of that source, whether that customer has been in touch with us in the previous months or so, and whether the customer, was downloading a white paper, whether he or she attended the event, and so on. Then the machine is also looking at, third-party data. We get buying intent data, for example, from third parties, and it's all mixed and mingled in our customer intelligence platform, in fact. So CX Unity, as I mentioned before. So we're looking at all these behavioral data, historical data, buying intent at the same time, and the engagement with Oracle in the past. So depending on that, and depending on the scoring model we have, we will then decide, or as I mentioned, the machine rather, will decide whether it's a lead, a qualified lead or not, and pass it on to sales. And honestly, we're still working on it. I mean, we're getting better every day, so to speak. We still need to sometimes adapt that machine or the machine scoring model a little, but it's getting better and better, and the machine learns while it works on all these leads and all these internal and external data.
Mm-hmm.
So you are doing the magic trick by that you utilize the powerhouse, what you have at your hands, not only to, as I would claim it, eat your own dog food and show your customers that you know how to do a proper job, and that you try what is to be automated, that you show them by your own utilization how it is possible to automate it. And then it's
Yeah.
no dog food, but as you
No, we
mentioned,
actually said drink your own champagne, you know, because
lovely. I like that
we
one.
got our solutions as champagne and not as dog food. So we drink our own champagne, and in fact, you know, Oracle is the biggest customer of Oracle. You know, there's a lot of people in marketing. There are 150,000 employees in total, and quite a few use all these solutions in marketing or in other departments, like in sales departments. They would use Sales Cloud, of course. So we really use our own solutions, yes, and from that experience, we can also, you know, improve all these solutions.
That's a strong point, and one I would like to go into more depth, such as what I see is even that we have one of the end customers who is not utilizing, unfortunately, Oracle, but who is, I see here, one of my consulting customers in the chat who wishes us a new year. There he is. Same to you, Alex, and I hope your CRM project is doing good progress. Going back to that what you showed is a strong point also in the navigation process through the marketing qualified lead till it is developed to a sales qualified lead, and you do have something like a navigator. You mentioned that you provide your team with a tool where you said there is a public link to get this magic into our own hands, such as, or to get a clear view how brilliant that is working for a salesperson if he feeds it properly. No?
Well, it's not quite that, Rolf. Sorry. It's more like a maturity model. You know, you can see how mature you are in certain areas, and depending on your maturity, you would get some recommendations. Yes.
It's fair enough. I see what is important, because we had that nice, let's say, talk with Dennis Pombriand, and he made a side of his nice research in overall on what people are utilizing and need, that if a CRM system is not meeting the needs of the salespeople, quote, salespeople prefer to clean the bathroom instead of using their CRM. How would you like to make a comment on that one, using your own suite of solutions by yourself? I still believe that you are not too often in the bathroom, are you?
Well, sometimes I do. But it's not because I don't like to feed the CRM system. In fact, you know, my role does not require me to feed the CRM system, of course. But, you know, I totally agree with Dennis here. And you know, the study you referred to was actually a study that was partnered by Oracle. And of course, you know,
which customers, potential audience, potential buyers can download. We can afterwards provide the link as a customer service. Now back to you.
No, thank you very much. And you know what I certainly agree is that, you know, you need to get benefits from your inputs. If you're a salesperson, and if you spend time or maybe even, you know, a couple of hours to enter data into a system, you want to get all the benefits afterwards. And you know, that I think was sometimes what they didn't see and why they didn't use a CRM system, and especially the old CRM systems required a lot of data entry. And that's exactly where we, you know, came in and said we need to help with data we feed into the CRM system automatically. So there is a solution in our case that would, you know, aggregate data from third parties. You might know DataFox, another company we acquired, and DataFox has a lot of information about all the companies. So, you know, the sellers would get not only the data they have in the system or they entered themselves, but all this additional data from Datafox, third-party data that was aggregated by Datafox, in fact. And so the data entry is reduced to an absolute minimum.
I would love, as a sales rep, to work with this, because what I learned and compare the sources of intelligence, which is aggregated in a service organization, like I view more or less marketing as my service organization to help me to make the sales happen, is favorably splendid and ahead of a lot of your competitors. Now I wait for Thomas to react, as he was till some months also in the role that he has a clear view to other opportunities, such as out of another organization and what they were fed, and presented with some colleagues also very smart solutions which are helping salespeople. Would you like to comment?
Well, I'd rather ask a question, because I mean,
Coward.
and then of course you are a marketing person, which is fair and good and important. Now, but what you just said is pretty much the same that I hear from, well, this company with M and those two with S, and one with a Z, one with F, another one with S, all of them unmentioned here or unnamed here. So the real question is, how do you think that you're distinguishing yourself from that pack? All hunters, of course. They are, of course, all hunting Oracle.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, I think, you know, I mentioned CX Unity a couple of times,
Yeah.
or Oracle Unity as we call it. And I think that's one big differentiator, because it's built on our Oracle Cloud infrastructure, OCI as we call it.
Yeah.
And it connects all first-party, second, and third-party customer data into a rich customer profile across anonymous and known customer interactions. It's built, or it has built-in intelligence, and that analyzes and predicts the next best experience. And because it's integrated into our CX suite, every CX application can then take advantage of this customer intelligence to personalize experiences across advertising, marketing, sales, and service. For the first time, you can have a comprehensive, in-depth view of your entire customer base available at a fingertip, so to speak. And you know, that guided experience I mentioned, or you know, the next best experience comes with data enrichment. This is an extension on our customer intelligence strategy for detecting and analyzing signals and enriching customer profiles. It really helps to ensure that every customer interaction is context aware and relevant. Then we have digital assistants built in the infrastructure. So it really comes kind of for free, because it's part of AI and digital assistants, machine learning, all that stuff. This is part of the infrastructure we sell. So the digital assistants, voice and chat user interfaces that help balance automation with high value customer engagement. And we're the only application company to have a voice digital assistant in the infrastructure. So that's certainly a differentiator. And then AI, as I mentioned, you know, intelligence embedded into every application to identify common patterns and enable AI-driven decision-making across marketing, sales, service, you name it. Having absent infrastructure in one cloud also allows a fast rollout of all these innovations, especially AI, across the entire CX suite. And then we have that common user interface, or common UX. So all of our applications are being built with this very modern user interface that is purpose-built and easy to use for each persona. So, for example, you know, the sales people, we've been talking a lot about sellers. So the sales professionals, we want to give them guided, intelligent, task-oriented solutions that help them do their job better, rather than traditional CRM approaches that make data entry a chore. So sellers can review new opportunities, check their to-do list, get updates on the latest news on their accounts, and create and send proposals to customers on their mobile sales app if they want. So our market leadership in the back office has really put us in a unique position to bring an entirely new approach to front office innovation.
Well, with regards to market leadership in the back office, I would suspect that, unluckily, there are not that many of this other S company in here. I would suspect that with regards to industries and market leadership in back office, there would be some contradiction. What
I can certainly
base
comment on
leadership
that.
on?
If you want me to. Shall I?
Well, yes, please.
Well, I used to work for SAP, so I know SAP well. So yes, of course, if you look at the European market, especially if you look at Germany and Switzerland, that's and then in the US, it has always been the other way around. So Oracle was the leader for back office solutions, especially in ERP. And then you shouldn't forget one thing, and that's why we can really call ourselves the market leader now. We acquired NetSuite, and NetSuite has a lot of customers in the ERP or back office area.
Okay. Well, just getting a perspective there, because there can be only one market leader, right?
So we are.
Perspective and who's looking.
Pardon?
Depending on the perspective and who is looking.
Sure, yeah.
And the segmentation model.
Depending on the segmentation more than
putting it into marketing perspective, marketing terms. Yeah.
True. I agree.
But as we are talking about CX the whole time, so one of the main questions there is, what's the definition of CX? Now, I'm not into Oracle's definition of CX, but into yours, after yours, actually.
My personal definition on CX?
Yeah, please, yeah.
Well, I think, it's everything about a good customer experience, everything about putting the customer in the center of all your activity, whether it's, defining a strategy for your company, whether it's, working on some processes or maybe a new marketing campaign, whether you're working on your daily tasks, the customer should always be in the center. And CX is really, the sum of all the experiences a customer would have with a brand, with your brand, in a lifetime. So sometimes, customers walk away after a bad experience, but I don't believe that, that many do. There is evidence that, I think it was studied in the US, that about 70% of all customers would walk away after one bad experience. But a lot of customers would maybe cope with one or two, not so well or not so good experience. So you can always maybe correct a bad experience, by providing a good service later on. That's why I say it's the sum of all the experience with a brand during the lifetime. And a lot of customers are like me, like an elephant who would never forget a bad experience. So sometimes it needs more than one good experience afterwards to make a customer happy again.
Yeah, I can relate to the sum of all experiences. Somehow it needs to be related to time as well, but I would agree there. How would you measure that then? I mean, some weight sum over time. Well, you can put that into a mathematic formula that I can vividly imagine in my head. But how would you measure that? And even more importantly, then, how do you put that into a scheme, a strategy that relates improvement in CX to improvement in business?
Well, measuring is a bit tricky.
Of course.
What we do measure, of course, and what everybody can measure is customer satisfaction. But measuring the customer experience in total, it's not that easy, or at least it's not that easy for us. in a B2B environment. It might be easier in a B2C environment, but I think, or what we do is we send out these questionnaires. We have interviews with customers in order to understand whether they're happy or not, whether they have some complaints about something, and then we have customer satisfaction managers who would be very close to the customers in order to make sure they are understood, and we totally understand what they didn't like so that we can improve. So we do have an organization in place in order to improve that customer satisfaction. And then, of course, it's each and every one's responsibility in a company to make sure that customers are happy. So it's not only something you can delegate to a customer satisfaction manager, or you can talk to a customer once a year and try to find out whether they're happy or not. It's something you really need to make sure every day with each and every interaction you have with your customers. And as I mentioned before, we have a couple of solutions that will help us improve that customer experience, of course, because we know the intent of a customer. We know it's his or her behavior. So that we can sort of reply to customer needs and not just, shoot into the market with, all the things we have, but, try to target the customers that have a need for these kind of solutions we target them for. And we provide relevant content, of course. I think that's really important, and not just any content. So we try to make content as relevant as possible, personalize each and every message. So that's something we do to have a better customer, to have our customers a better experience.
So, but then what all of us are selling, so from a consultant and from a vendor point of view, what all of us are selling our customers is, you provide better experience to your customers, you make better business.
Yeah.
Well, so now, what are the metrics behind that?
The KPIs we have for a good customer experience.
Well, for example, no, not a good customer experience, but the basic point is the statement: you provide good experience to your customers, you make better business. Means lower cost for the same business or more revenue. A revenue increasing faster than the cost.
Yeah, of course. What we are always trying to do is to cross-sell, to upsell. And one thing we're looking at is the adoption rate, of course. So it's one thing to sell a solution, but then we want our customers to use that solution. So only happy customers would use the solution and would buy more. Would buy other CX solutions. They might start, and I've been talking to a couple of customers myself recently. So they might have started with one solution, Alloco, for example, because they've heard about it a long time ago, and it was the leading marketing automation solution. So they started off with using Alloco, and then later on, they of course, we try to communicate from a marketing perspective, but also sales. We tell them about all these other, nice solutions we have that would complement Alloco. And so sooner or later, they will hopefully buy something more. And that's one thing we measure, that's cross-selling potential or upselling potential in a way that we want our customers to have more people using the same solution. So sometimes, we sell a solution into a department and it's been used with, that department for a while, say 50 or maybe 100 people. And there's other departments we want to use the same solution too. So that's another thing we look at.
There is a good question coming in right now. I probably have been half a second faster than Ralph at this very second, along with two follow-ups that I'll just bring in right now as well, which I'd like to ask you to comment on. This is the next one, and I have my clear opinion on that one, a very clear one. And the third one, they are all sort of related. Yes, of course, you're making better bills if you are doing more successful up and cross-selling and keep your customers. Yeah, but the question then relates back basically to this one: does
Yeah.
a better CX?
That would certainly lead to a better customer satisfaction, of course. Yeah. And then, better customer satisfaction usually leads to more business. Yeah, I totally agree with that equation of Winfried.
Which one? This one. So
the one that was shown before, better CX solutions help for, better customer satisfaction, and that would equal to more business. Yeah, exactly.
So, but then we are back again in measurement. So I now let's make an example. So a project success is not having it happily implemented. Then okay, check, implemented, it's up and running. The value of implementing it comes in use. So now, what would you, from your perspective, recommend a customer how to manage, or how to measure, not to manage, how to measure a monetary benefit, because that is what they are after?
Yeah,
better CX delivered via the system.
Well, when you talk to business people, or when you talk to a CFO or even the CEO of a company, you need to monetize, as you said. And in fact, they talk revenue and nothing else. So you need to, I think, in the end, as a marketing guy who wants to invest in new MarTech, you always need to talk that kind of language and say, we could probably increase revenue by such and such, numbers or percentage. Maybe it's usually assumptions, or you go with benchmarks, you go with case studies and so on, and then you need to prove, of course, and you can prove, of course, when you have happy customers, they will certainly buy more or adopt your solutions in a better way than unhappy customers would. And then you look at churn rates, and if you keep your customers happy, if you keep them over a long time, in the end they will buy more, and it all comes back to revenue. So yes, of course, that's what counts at the end. And before that, it might be customer satisfaction, it might be churn rate, it might be a couple of things, but in the end, it's additional revenue, right?
Not reduced cost.
Well, when we talk about customer satisfaction, I would not like to talk about, reducing costs, because, providing an outstanding customer satisfaction usually requires an investment rather than a cost cut.
Now we are in a situation where companies are quite strapped. So how to go ahead there? I mean, right now, most of your customers, our customers, are facing a situation where their revenues are rather on the decline than on the up. Means they tend to be careful with investments. So,
and yet they need to spend more to attract the customers that have gone away this year. Yeah. So
that's an interesting observation of yours. Sorry, you wanted to add something, Marshall? You wanted to add something?
No, I was adding to what Thomas was saying. How companies are, as they said, strapped for cash. They do not have a lot of money to invest necessarily, but at the same time, they need to invest to recover customers that faded over the course of 2020. So
and it is the very clear aspect that the cash is thought to be king, and that everybody is very focused that he survives by himself, and that probably the valuation or the experience the customer has in positive by staying with a company where he has some good experiences versus those customers which are expecting same good experience but for less money, that there are some people on the let's say, on the path of discovery channel, like, I would like to try something new because I have to save some money. And this is critical. Yeah. And what you mentioned is that probably the going down in users and customers, Marshall, will become critical if they lose too many customers by doing too costly excellent service on one end.
Yeah.
And on one end, if you have a new refocusing, such as, do I deliver a new model of service quality for a higher price and deliver a less sexy approach to the ones which are willing to work with me, but love to see a little less in service as for the more invest in money. Yeah.
Yeah, that is about segmentation, right? Segmenting your market. And, that is something, you know, you should always do. It hasn't changed with the pandemic, really. What has changed with the pandemic, I think, is that, you know, there's winners and losers of the pandemic, and the losers are those companies who were late with their digital transformation. For example, companies that have not invested in CX beforehand, they certainly found it hard. You know, they had to see customers turning their back and going online with some of their competitors, for example. But then there's winners like Amazon, who, you know, as you all know, invested a lot of money into providing a good customer experience. So, and also, you know, smaller companies, I mean, that's just a big name everybody knows, but also smaller companies who invested in good customer experiences before, they were winners of the pandemic. And there's a study by McKinsey, by the way, that shows that, you know, going back a couple of years, back to 2007, in fact, that shows that, you know, companies who were leaders in CX didn't suffer as much during the financial crisis in 2009 as companies suffered that did not invest in CX, or that, you know, did not care about customer satisfaction or customer experience, whatever you want to call it. So they you know, suffered less, and they recovered much sooner than those other companies. And the same will be true for this pandemic, I'm pretty sure, for this crisis.
So basically, go careful into the right direction, as Winfried is suggesting with his comment here. Yeah. There's another one that just came in as a question. So again, deviating before we probably look into the driving impression. So we have seen from part of the competition programs that help companies get through it. Yeah, one is a Z company that's a very, very active one there. What is Oracle? How is Oracle helping their customers or prospects to implement, or to easier implement solutions, or to help them through this trouble that this pandemic is probably causing them?
Well,
sure, there are efforts going on.
There's different approaches or efforts. I mean, there's not a special program as such, but what we've done, we've helped a lot of organizations to go online, so to speak. I mean, especially in retail, there were still a lot of customers who did not have a e-commerce shop. So that was one thing. We helped them. You know, we really supported them to be fast and running within weeks instead of months. And then, you know, we have a team that does a lot of design thinking. So you know, they use Scrum methodology to come up with, you know, solutions or increments or improvements, whatever you want to call it. It's called increments in Scrum within, you know, a short period of time. So that the customers do not suffer that much. The ditch is not, you know, too deep, And then, of course, there's also, helps by financial means. We have, or customers have the opportunity to finance their investments instead of paying it upfront. But in cloud, it's a different story anyway. When you have a subscription model, the investments are usually not that high. So that also helps. And I think that convinced a lot of customers in this pandemic to go to the cloud. And you could actually see a lot of customers doing that digital transformation within weeks or within a couple of months that were only thinking about it before the pandemic break, and they were just forced to advance all their efforts, and they're in the cloud now using an e-commerce shop or whatever solution to make their customers happy, to keep their customers, to retain their customer base.
An idea which came to my mind is that my heartbeat is for the small and medium-sized organizations, and I would doubt that the typical mom and pop store, to throw in one of my learnings through Marshall, done to Emma, is not the typical Oracle customer. Where would you
not really, no.
Where would you see your ideal customer, or to put it plain in my sales German, was ist das Beuteschema?
Yeah,
Marshall.
Overall, of course, we focus on the larger companies, companies that do something above 500 million revenue in dollars. That's certainly the companies we approach with our own sales force. Then we have a mid-market organization that would focus on smaller customers that would probably be bigger than 100 employees, so to speak. And then for the very small customers, we have NetSuite, as I mentioned before. So NetSuite is really the alternative to an Oracle Cloud solution, which is also quite a good solution, of course. And so we really target all these segments, maybe not Tante Emma, as I mentioned before, but smaller companies. And sometimes we also, when we talk about CX here, or marketing automation or MarTech, we also cooperate with agencies, of course. So agencies might provide a full service to customers using our technology, our solutions. So it's more like the service small customers use from agencies rather than they buying Oracle MarTech themselves.
Would there be an opportunity, because you have the experience being a marketing agency owner as yourself, would that have been a suitable business model in the scrouchy Swiss environment? Would that have an opportunity? Because I only see the very cost-conscious experience I made in my Swiss days as a CEO or a member of the board. And I reflect that the idea is splendid and brilliant. And also what Winfried mentions, going for a solution and pay 10 years later, that would be a really, really exciting model, because in 10 years' time, either you are broke or you are a star. Show it to Salesforce, then you can cash in a lot, or you lost a lot. It's like
it's like you buy a house and you get a mortgage.
Well,
anyway, as I said before, in the cloud subscription model, it's not relevant any longer, because you don't have that big investments. So you can basically turn it on and pay as you use it.
And would you recommend?
Coming back to your questions before about the agency, Rolf, that was actually one reason why I left my partner at the time and joined EMC, because I thought, and that was really in 2010. I thought we need to provide these kind of digital marketing services to our customers, and he was not ready to it. But of course, yeah, that would be a good business model for every marketing agency. Use these kind of MarTech solutions and provide a full service to smaller customers, because small customers find it really hard usually to use all this MarTech because it also needs an investment in education, in training, right?
Very good point, because it's not only the wish is the same like in the large organization. If I go through the digital agency, I would like to have new fantastic customers, but how to manage a system, how to manage these workflows, how to create that marketing loop and all these steps in between is a bit of a science, which is a special magic, which needs a proper education and how to operate, to let it make the magic, and to let it perform the magic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, any technology that is not used properly is garbage. That was the problem with CRM for so long. Businesses would install a system figuring this will solve all our problems. It doesn't solve your problems if you don't use it. And the same thing with what we're talking about right now. It never ends.
Yeah. And another trouble is that you might find specialists in the market. There's a lot of specialists when it comes to digital marketing. So you might find a specialist that does, search engine optimization. Mm-hmm. Another one, knows about personalized marketing automation. Mm-hmm. And another one knows something else. But you don't find people that have a broad knowledge usually. And then you end up with, these little kind of solutions that are isolated solutions instead of integrated. So I think that is also something we need to maybe sort of force a little, that you get more generalists in digital marketing or in CX maybe. Let's call it generalists in CX than just the specialists that have that big picture and know how all these bits and pieces play together in a nice way.
Mm-hmm. Let me try to understand one thing. If I go for the CRM experience in NetSuite, I get a lovely and nice, good-looking Pia Picanta in CRM sense speaking, whereas you are delivering me either, if I want a lot of comfort, a Rolls-Royce in the full suite CX marketing opportunity, or I can get a sports car, such as a Porsche or something American brand. I would like to know how much CRM and CX I get if I go for the mentioned NetSuite solution.
Honestly, I don't know much about NetSuite.
Okay.
So I cannot answer you that question. But one comment I would like to make is that all these different solutions of ours, you can buy them on its own, and then later you can buy a second one, and it's fully integrated. It's always fully integrated because underlying it's always the same technology. It's the same database layer, but also CX Unity, as I mentioned before, would not only integrate all your first-party data, but also second-party data, third-party data. So all these different solutions would plug into CX Unity, so to speak, and then you can start at one end and expand over time, use more and more until you have the full enchilada.
That's very sexy, because with this answer or with this comment, you answer one of Tom's questions in the way that you have some kind to make it in a picture like a Lego system where each block fits together with the whole system, and that you should have, speaking from the marketing and sales perspective, a frictionless, seamless integration where everything is running smoothly.
Just was fearing that Ralph would say frictionless experience, which would have caused a shiver. Um, out of curiosity, Daniel, how does all that relate to OCI and cloud at customer? I think is what you are calling it.
How does it relate to OCI?
Yeah, also OCI is the infrastructure that you are run on. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So now bringing this forward, so you also bring the cloud into the customer's data center, which is a cool idea actually. And I think Oracle was the first one to do that, which has made it even cooler. So imagine I'm just this bloody German customer who insists in on-premise, and I really want CX Unity. Can I get it in my own data center?
Yes, of course. Yeah, you can.
So it's really transparent.
We also have not only a public cloud but also a private cloud, and you can get that infrastructure into your own walls if you want to, and still run it as kind of a cloud. But it's your private cloud and it's not a public cloud. So it's totally secure, for your own use only. So that's no problem at all. And then there's still through unification. So Fusion is the technology platform that all our applications are built on, which enables that true unification. And all our applications are on that Gen 2 Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, as we call it now, or OCI, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Yeah.
Which other key differentiators would you see to your lovely friends from the market? This was one. You can bring the own data center into your customer's data center, and you could give him a very cool on-premise feeling, even being in the cloud with that private cloud approach. That's one very strong differentiator. Where do you see some others in comparison to the pack, which is running in the same direction?
Yeah, well, as I mentioned before, CX Unity is really a great thing. It's really what I call personally a customer intelligence platform rather than a customer data platform. And CX Unity, that does really aggregate and unify all these first party, second and third party data, with the help of machine learning or artificial intelligence. So, in the past, sometimes you spent months, if not hours, months, if not years, to consolidate, data from various data silos, and that's not necessary any longer because CX Unity does it for you. So that is one of the big advantages we have, and then. For the first time, you can have a comprehensive, in-depth view of your entire customer base because of that, available at fingertip. And then all that guided experience. I think that's also a differentiator. So we get advice. If you are a seller, you might get advice on where to focus. Which kind of customers you need to focus on, where the customer shows buying intent. And as a service agent, you might get advice by artificial intelligence on how to solve a problem. As a marketer, you get advice on how to segment your market. So you get all this, next best experiences or actions provided by the system. And I think that's also a big differentiator. Data enrichment is another one. Digital assistants that are kind of part of the infrastructure I mentioned before, and that common user experience also.
Cool.
Part of it, huh?
Yeah. Just digesting things here, so running them through the cogwheels that are a bit rusty. Didn't have enough coffee yet for getting them greased.
Greasy coffee.
Yeah.
It leaves us wondering. We were all wondering what question to ask next. I guess we're all wondering what we can expect to see next out of Oracle CX. But before we do that, I should point out that we are over our 1 hour.
Of course we are.
Of course, yeah. And we can do this all day.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure that we're being fair to you. If you have time to stick around.
No, that's okay. Yeah, let's go on.
All right, screw the clock. Let's go.
Okay. So what's next?
Yeah. Give us a preview.
No, I think I can't give you a preview.
The public sneak preview.
No, I think we've really been investing a lot of time in integrating all this, rewriting code, and make sure that it all plugs into CX Unity, and you can certainly see customers adopting this and us talking about it, of course, because I think it's really a good story. It's the most comprehensive solution in the market, if you think of it. And what we need to do, we need to talk more about it, because not that many people know about it. Some regard Oracle still as a database company, and I think what we should do now is win as many customers as possible and talk about it, because what we have now is really quite unique.
Mm-hmm. There's one new old horse that's getting ridden through the village, which is industries. So why? I mean, Oracle is doing industries forever, forever. And why is that topic being picked up only now?
Yeah, that's a good question. I wonder myself. I haven't heard it much at my time at Oracle, but Larry Ellison was talking about industries in that recent sales summit you might have attended, and I think it's because we do have industry solutions now.
Yeah, forever.
And, before we had kind of industry solutions, because there's always been global business units that were focusing on certain industries, like the telco industry, for example, or financial services or manufacturing. So these business units, they had all the know-how about the industries and what they need. And now, for the first time, we really talk about these industry solutions, while we in the past just said, our solutions are flexible enough to quickly adapt to whatever the industry needs are. And the experts, the consultants in these global business units, they of course had that know-how, they had that insight in order to know how to customize these solutions. So I think it's more like a response to maybe SAP, who was talking about industry solutions for a long time, and we didn't want to talk about industry solutions, but now we have them for retail, for financial services, for high-tech manufacturing, automotive, consumer goods, communication and media. Shouldn't forget that, because we just won a big customer here in Switzerland, Swisscom, for that solution. And then there's also industry solutions for the public sector. Just mentioning the CX specific industries.
Yeah, your colleagues in ERP wouldn't make so many quotes for referential customers in the German-speaking territory, and they are very unhappy about those. They do have a lot of fantastic solutions they sold, but they are not allowed to speak about it. Marketing-wise, crap. Yeah, marketing-wise, this is a disaster, as you cannot tell about the good stuff. Yeah. So how do you disguise a lot of automotive solutions you have done, if you're not allowed to speak about? Yeah. This is, for me, in the bottom of my heart, being still a marketing guy, this would drive me crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I attended Konvo Messe some time ago, and I was talking to one of our automotive customers, in fact. Very interesting. And of course, I wanted to go big with it, working on a success story, working on a video, all that stuff. And he said, no, we don't want to talk about it because, we don't want our main competitor to know about, the things we do here. So yeah, that's a bit of a pain in the ass for a marketing guy as me.
Yeah.
Can imagine that.
Oh yeah. This is hurting because there are some very, very nice stories. If you would be allowed, one could tell. And I would say not taking away the beef out of some of the tasty bits and parts, as there will be some announcements Mr. Ellison would like to make, because he is always telling about, we have so fantastic users going away from SAP and going to Oracle. But the audience of analysts and journalists is still waiting for the names he would like to drop. And this is a never-ending story. So I just want to encourage you, if you are allowed to drop some more names where you have the permission to talk about, we are happy to listen to you, because I believe what you said, that you have the bricks which fit so nicely together. You will have a lot of customers one would recognize also here in Germany. Because
yeah, sure, yeah, I can mention one name for sure.
Only one.
In the automotive industry, that is Ferrari, and I think everybody knows.
Yeah, well, that one I recall as well. Even that it's not the typical car I would get to my wife either.
Really?
Yeah, well, if I want to get divorced cheaply, I buy her a Ferrari. Trust me. That's a guarantee. That's a guarantee.
Okay.
Why doesn't she like Ferraris?
I would say she has a certain opportunity to get in trouble with the car. Yeah, in a curve driving straight forward.
Okay.
Therefore, I made the thing, if I want to get rid of my wife and I want to have a cheap divorce, I buy her such a unmanageable car. Because driving a Ferrari is not that you simply, like using Oracle, just get into the driver's seat and it's working, but you have to be properly educated to use the clutch in the right manner, elsewise you ruin the transmission. Easy like that.
Okay, you know
so
more
you
than
need
I
to
do
wait
about
for the
Ferrari.
Tesla Roadster, which does the whole driving by itself. Yeah.
Yeah, well, are there other brand names we would recognize in good old Germany as well?
Oh, well, yeah, of course, DHL.
Yeah.
Then what else? Big ones. Yeah, I should have prepared for that. Sometimes I hear about names, and I'm not sure whether I'm allowed to talk about it. Whether I should.
Okay, but then not.
But there was a couple of good ones recently, but I think we still need to get their permission to talk about it. Unfortunately.
Okay.
But there's a page on the Oracle website where you can find all the references, and you can select on Germany, and you will see a couple of names you know.
Looking at CX in general and the visibility of Oracle CX especially, how is that established and spearheaded in Europe right now?
Sorry, I kind of missed the first part of your question. Very sorry. Maybe it's because I'm getting tired. I don't know. Can you repeat, please?
Yeah, I mean, there is an ongoing effort to make Oracle CX known.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So, well, yeah.
How is it spearheaded? Yeah.
How is that spearheaded? Yeah.
Well, as I mentioned before, it's really something that is now driven by Rob Tarkov, who's the new guy that is really having all the power now, and he wants to be seen, or our solutions to be seen in the market, and he was the one that convinced Larry Ellison to talk about it. So it's really spearheaded from the very top. And
Okay.
I think that was really great to win Larry talk about it. So that also shows the importance.
Yeah.
So now everybody within Oracle, takes it seriously. Before, we were sometimes regarded as, the new kid on the block, or kindergarten maybe, because the old guys, the old Oracle guys, they joined Oracle at a time when Oracle was big with technology, with database, middleware, and honestly, we still make a lot of money with technology and middleware. So some guys were kind of laughing at us a little in the beginning, and nobody kind of understood why we buy all these companies, good companies, in fact, and what we want to do with it. And now all evolved. I think everybody understood what we've done with it, and what a great suite we have now. And so it changed, the mindset internally changed, and that also helps me now to get support from other departments, like from the PR department, that was also focusing on ERP more than anything else in the past, and technology. So now they also help us promote our CX solutions, and you will hopefully see more and hear more about CX, so that you'll end up recommending CX to you guys, and some of the people that listen here hopefully buying one of our CX solutions sooner or later.
And who drives it in Europe, for example? From an execution point of view, I mean, Rob is a great guy, but he can't be everywhere at all times.
No, of course, yeah. There's a big organization. There's hundreds of people in Rob's organization, and then of course there's a marketing department, and the marketing department is led by Ariel Kellman, and in fact he's the global CMO, reporting to Safra Kutz and Larry Ellison. But then he hired a CMO for CX, dedicated CMO for CX. So that also shows the importance. And that is Nate Skinner. And talking about our organization now, reporting to Nate Skinner is my boss, Emmanuel Badia, who heads CX marketing in EMEA. So we have an EMEA organization, but honestly, there's more and more of our campaigns that are driven on a global scale now. So digital marketing, enables us to, run campaigns across the globe. Sometimes you need, small little adjustments to the local market. I've just signed off one now for 2 videos. The German translation sometimes might not resonate in the German market, but in general, these are campaigns that are run on a global scale now. And then, of course, in addition to all these digital campaigns, in addition to, our web-first strategy, we also have, local events, not physical at the moment, of course. It's more like webinars. And because they are webinars, they are also not that local at the moment, but still we do webinars in, German language, or in French or Spanish or whatever kind of European language you want to take. So there's a lot of local marketing in addition to it, but there's a few hundred people now driving CX or promoting CX solutions into the market.
Not too bad. Ooh, I'm fresh out of questions.
Not bad.
Never, ever.
Well, sometimes even that happens. Maybe not enough grease.
No, I believe from the observer's point of view, you have a very strong part you drive in the visibility of the CX story from Switzerland. This is one of the observations I would like to share with the audience. And as you have heard and seen a lot of the questions from Winfried, he was very happy in getting some inspirational points, which started off a blog parade on Beyond CXM and Beyond CX. I see that is one of the aspects why Tom reflects on, and Marshall did it quite frankly, that it is very interesting to see that you drive a bit the story from your perspective, and that they're asking you in your marketing role, where would you like to see the next, let's say, bits and pieces in the Lego arrangement of opportunities and new features? What would you love to see to make your life easier as a marketeer?
Well, honestly, for the first time in my life, I think I have all the tools I need to be successful in the market. It's not that we, I mentioned drinking your own champagne before. It's not that we use all these tools right now. They're being implemented, some of them still. We're using quite a few so far, and we've been successful with them. But we acquire new tools, we develop new functionality, and we're usually the first people to use it. Even before our customers use them. So I think from what I know about the whole portfolio now, I think I would have everything I need to be a successful CMO.
Wow.
Everything.
That is a function complete is a statement that I heard last time, 2002, 2003, when it was Peter Zenke telling us that CRM is function complete. The whole CRM gang was rolling on the floor, of course.
And he was on his blueprints by himself with low-hat technology. If I recall Peter in these situations when he did a presentation to analysts where he honestly showed slides with the blueprint he has drawn. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Well.
No, I still wouldn't call it function complete because the environment changes at high speed, as you all know. And I'm not talking about pandemic now, but the inventions in marketing, in digital marketing. So also there's new players in the market you have to respond to. Then there's Google changing algorithms maybe overnight. You have to respond to. There's GDPR or a new, privacy regulation within the European Union that will make our lives harder in marketing. Yeah. And so you constantly need to adapt these solutions, of course, to that changing environment. So function is never complete, I guess.
Just one observation meant as a nasty remark to your competition. As long as they rely on AWS, you can be very happy with your solution setup that you sell complete cloud centers to your customers, which are running very, very nicely. Because yesterday, the guys from AWS made some interesting approaches and Slack was not accessible worldwide. Oh,
yeah, I know. I suffered myself actually, and thank you, Ralph, for mentioning it. I should have mentioned it as one of our USPs also. That we don't depend, or our customers do not depend on Azure or AWS, as you mentioned.
So this was one of the, because everybody thinks that I'm a rude guy, the rude German who is nailing our guests. No, I always look that it is a very fair inquisition also with some peeking into our competition, guys, because I believe a typical German customer would love to hear that he has a trouble-free environment like he would have it with his own, or if you deliver it, it's even better, because you would not ever come to the point that you go into where you have your Coke and your beverages stored, that you find in the same room the server. Yeah, that would not be the Oracle style.
No, really.
I have seen many Swiss people, Swiss organizations I have been visiting, where in 20 years ago, this was when I looked into their security. Honestly, they had their security devices somewhere in these cupboards where they, in some other area, stow away their beverages or their cleaning stuff, because the things were so small, nothing larger than a Fritz box. But I said, God, guys, where's your server room? Get this nice toy there. That's more appropriate.
Yeah, I know exactly what you speak about. Yeah.
Something with
The funny thing is, I mean, I personally had a lot of discussions about cloud computing a long time ago, when everybody said, oh, no, that's not secure, that's not safe, we never go to the cloud. And then you looked at their server room and you thought, oh, well, is this secure? Is this safe?
It's a story we could continue for ages and years.
Yeah, maybe.
Honestly, from the security point of view and from the reliability point of view, because if you have a service organization which is helping you, you have a scalable setup behind you, and you are not only relying on your own IT and service team. Yeah. And this is also,
you have a lot of specialists also, security specialists that, might have been former hackers. These guys are really, the expensive guys you could probably not afford to hire yourself, that we have, that make our, cloud environment secure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's important to have white hackers and not only the bad guys, so that you really do these penetration tests and all that. This is very important to get the proper certifications and to have an honest talk to the customers, such as, believe us, and we show you some of the dirty tricks we drive on our own, hidden and anonymously, to make sure that you have the best in class. Yeah.
Yeah, I am curious. How does a marketing executive approach security as a topic, as something to sell? Because usually, security, if it's good, you never hear about it. It's when something goes wrong that it makes the news or that people react to it. Mm-hmm. How do you market something that when it's good, you never know about?
Yeah, good question. I never, well, actually, no, it's not true. When I was at EMC, there was RSA, a security company, and I did some stuff for them as well. So, I mean, you talk about, all these things that could happen, or you have bad examples. You can sort of, mention when you do an interview with some journalists, for example. And then it's about it's about seeding fear, doubt, uncertainty, more or less, so that people tend to think, okay, that can happen to me as well, so I need to do something about it. So that's how you sell security solutions, really.
Point out what someone else did wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Okay. Well, I guess
we probably lost all our listeners or viewers. Meanwhile,
after 1.5 hours, we still have few people on here. It's hard to believe. So, with all of our irrelevant talk,
yeah, I don't know about you guys. I didn't know if anybody was listening.
Too bad. Yeah, pretty
I enjoyed it too, but I think we should probably come to an end now.
Yes,
so that everybody can, Rolf and myself can have a dinner decent night.
Yeah, time over here.
You have breakfast and coffee.
Yeah. So from my end, many thanks, Daniel. That was exciting, and sorry for some of the meaner questions.
No, they were all fine questions.
You see the big smile. And with a big smile, how sorry I am. Yeah. It was good.
All good.
Really enjoyable.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. And
We
I enjoyed
could
it
do
a
that
lot.
again, if you ask me.
It was excellent.
Yeah.
We are very grateful that you took yourself the time, and as I love always to make some funny noises and show some stuff, I have here my siren. Okay, it's not
Which doesn't work that well with the green
Yeah, well,
screen.
green on green is not always very smart. Yeah, this is like the Italian war flag, white cross and white ground. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Okay, at least I was laughing. Okay, fabulous, guys.
And at least
I
you
love
haven't
it.
made a joke. You haven't made a joke about the Swiss people this time. Which I
Oh shit!
appreciate.
I forgot. I knew we forgot something.
Well, we're going to have him back again.
So you need to come again.
See you happy and keep you happy and keep your our audience altogether happy. So I'm not knowing that there is any relevant CRM vendor and producer in Italy. So I'm sitting in the middle of trouble. I'm looking forward to it. Guys, I enjoyed it very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Daniel, for
Great
being
time.
Thank you too. Have a good day, nice evening, whatever.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Ciao.
Going offline. Ciao.